Long ago, the film opens with a roaring chariot race. The warriors charge forward, each one trying to outrun a single unstoppable racer. They push, block, and target him from every side. But nothing slows him down. He breaks through every trap, every hit, and he wins the race once again. But the victory doesn't last. A sudden crack echoes across the arena. The wheel of his chariot shatters. The racer is thrown forward, and in an instant, he dies. And with that, the scene fades into silence. We jump to the present day, where archaeologist Sylvester prepares his camera inside an ancient Egyptian tomb. He tells his viewers he has finally reached the resting place of Princess Nefer, and today he will reveal her mummy to the world. Sylvester and his team open the sarcophagus, but it's empty. Confused, he studies the writings carved on the coffin and the walls. Slowly, the message becomes clear. Princess Nefer's mummy was taken to the legendary City of the Mummies. Following every symbol and carving, Sylvester discovers something even bigger, an entire hidden city where mummies still live. Meanwhile, inside that secret city, we meet a young man named Thut. Crowds surround him as he signs autographs, and we learn he was once a famous chariot champion, the kind everyone admired, the one who always won. After the signing, Thut hands his belongings to his little brother Sekhem, telling him to head home because he'll be late picking up everything the family needs. On the way to the market, Thut steps into the street, and a girl slams into him with her chariot. She shouts at him for not paying attention, then drives off in anger. Moments later, we learn the truth. That girl is Princess Nefer, the daughter of the pharaoh. As soon as she reaches the palace, Nefer starts singing loudly, letting her voice fill the halls. Her assistant, Kosi, rushes in and scolds her, reminding her that real princesses don't sing. Only servants and performers do. Nefer apologizes quickly and begs her not to tell her father, hoping he won't be upset with her again. And after Nefer puts on her royal outfit, she heads down to meet her father. The pharaoh tells her that today marks the start of a sacred ceremony, the ritual that will choose her future husband. They will release the phoenix into the sky, and wherever it lands, that man will be her destined groom. Nefer's smile fades. She quietly tells her father she's not ready for marriage. She still has dreams, goals, a life she wants to live. But the pharaoh reminds her she's a princess, and duty comes before desire. Even though she's sad, she finally agrees. The ceremony begins. The phoenix rises into the air and glides over the city while the pharaoh's assistants watch it through their telescope. At that same moment, little Sekhem is playing with his spinning disc. It slips from his hand, flies upward, and accidentally hits the phoenix, knocking it straight onto their house. From afar, the assistants gasp. The phoenix has made its choice. Meanwhile, Thut is stunned when royal guards arrive and take him to the palace. The moment Nefer sees him, she recognizes him as the stranger she crashed into earlier. She refuses the idea immediately, calling him a nobody, just a chariot racer. Thut argues right back, saying he also doesn't agree to this marriage. She deserves to marry a prince, not someone like him. But the assistants interrupt. The ritual is sacred, and according to the law, if Thut refuses, the punishment is death. Fear hits him hard. He gives in. The pharaoh hands Thut a box containing the wedding ring, the one he must present to Nefer on their wedding day. Later, Thut meets Nefer again and quietly admits he doesn't want this marriage. He has fans, a life, a future he hasn't lived yet. Nefer sighs and tells him she feels the same, but she has to agree, because she can't disappoint her father. And then, Thut walks off to meet his brother Sekhem. He tells him the shocking news. The guards want Tut to marry Princess Nefer. Sekhem bursts out laughing, wondering why anyone would choose him, someone who hates rules and responsibility. But Tut isn't laughing. He tells his brother he doesn't understand anything yet. All he knows is this: if the royal ring gets lost or damaged, the guards will kill him on the spot. Sekhem calms down and insists they must hide the ring in a safe place. So the two brothers head to the abandoned chamber where Tut keeps all his old trophies. Inside, they lock the ring inside a small cabinet and leave, thinking it's finally safe. Meanwhile, in the world of the living, Sylvester sends his robot deep into the tunnels leading straight to the Mummies' city. The robot reaches the cabinet, finds the royal ring, and Sylvester erupts with excitement. Without hesitation, he orders the robot to blow up the entire chamber. The explosion echoes through the city. Tut hears it, panics, and rushes back as fast as he can. But when he arrives, the whole place is destroyed. In that moment, he realizes the truth. Someone from the living world has taken the ring. Tut tells Sekhem he must cross to the world of the living and bring it back. But Sekhem argues it's too dangerous. They can simply replace the ring. Tut refuses. This is a royal ring, a personal gift from the pharaoh himself. If the pharaoh finds out it's missing, Tut could be executed. So Sekhem makes a choice. He's going with Tooth. Otherwise, he'll tell the pharaoh everything. Tooth has no choice but to accept. Together, they head toward the portal. They cross through, step into the world of the living, and Tooth warns his brother, "Stay away from white light. It's the one thing that exposes who we really are." And once they're on the other side, Tooth and Sekhem head straight toward the pyramids. A research team is already there, watching Sylvester as he quietly slips the royal ring into one of his crates. He tells his assistants that this ring will be the centerpiece of his exhibition. From a distance, Tooth and Sekhem wait for the helpers to load the crates onto the trucks. And the moment the last one is placed, they rush down and jump aboard, hoping this will lead them back to the ring. The truck carries them all the way to the port. There, the two brothers hide inside a crate so no one can spot them. But that crate is suddenly lifted and loaded onto a ship heading straight for England. When Tooth and Sekhem finally climb out, fear takes over. They have no idea what to do next. Footsteps approach. They hide fast, ready to attack whoever opens the door. But when it swings open, they freeze. It's Princess Nefer. They're shocked to see her here. She refuses to explain why she came, and instead demands to know why they are on this ship. She even accuses Tooth of running away so he wouldn't have to marry her. Before Tooth can speak, Sekhem blurts out the truth. Tooth lost the marriage ring, and they're here to get it back. Nefer panics. If that ring isn't returned, a disaster could fall on the entire kingdom. So she makes her choice. She's coming with them. Together, they try to open the door, but it only unlocks from the other side. Moments later, the ship arrives in England. The three of them step out, thinking they're still in ancient Rome, completely unaware of the modern world around them. Then they spot Sylvester, and they finally know he's the one who stole the ring. They follow him quietly. When he gets into a car with his assistants, they sneak into one of the crates in the back, hiding again so no one notices. As the car moves, crowds on the street spot them. People take pictures, laughing at their costumes. But when the white light hits them, their true mummy forms appear. The crowd screams. Everyone runs. And after the chaos settles, Nefer, Tut, and Sekhem keep walking through the streets until they spot bright posters everywhere. Posters for a grand pharaoh-themed stage show. The three of them look at each other. If the ring is anywhere, it could be here. So they head straight to the theater. Inside, the director sees them and immediately waves them over. He thinks they're part of the cast, just more actors dressed as ancient Egyptians. He rushes them backstage and tells them they need to get on stage right now. Nefer is confused. She keeps insisting that she's Princess Nefer, daughter of the pharaoh. But the director just laughs, thinking she's fully committed to her role, and pushes all three of them toward the stage. The moment they step out, the music begins. The cast starts singing, and Nefer lights up. For the first time in her life, no one is stopping her. She sings freely, louder, stronger, letting everything inside her out. The audience is amazed. Even the actors freeze, watching her take over the show. But the maestro isn't happy at all. She's breaking every rule and going off script. Still, she keeps singing, and the theater erupts with applause. While performing, Nefer notices a ring on the hand of one of the actresses. Without thinking twice, she grabs it, certain it must be the real marriage ring. But when Tuth checks it backstage, it's fake. Up in the audience, Sylvester watches the scene carefully. His eyes narrow when he sees the mark on Nefer's body, a mark no makeup artist could ever recreate. He realizes the truth instantly. She's a real mummy, and she escaped the city of the dead for something powerful. When the show ends, Nefer, Tuth, and Sekhem rush out of the theater. They think they finally got the ring, so they try to slip away before anyone notices. But outside, a strange man appears. He introduces himself as Ed. He offers to give them a ride wherever they want. With no better choice, they get in his car. Ed keeps talking to Nefer. He tells her he heard her voice and loved it. He says he can produce an entire album for her, make her a star, and that he wants to be her manager. Nefer looks tempted, but before she can answer, Tuth steps in. He tells Ed they have more important matters. They must return to their homeland as soon as possible. Ed smiles and hands Nefer his card. If she ever changes her mind, she can call him. And later that night, Nefer sits with Tuth, telling him something she's been hiding inside her heart. She's not sure she wants to go home anymore. Here, in the world of the living, she finally feels free. Free to sing, free to dream. Free from the rules of being a pharaoh's daughter. As she talks, the sky darkens and the rain begins to fall. So they hurry back to Ed's place to wait out the storm. Ed welcomes them in, lets them stay the night, and acts as if he's known them forever. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the city, Sylvester unfolds an ancient scroll. He tells his assistants about the legend, the tale of Princess Nefer and the sacred marriage ring she once lost. If Nefer is alive today, it means every piece of that legend is real, and she must have returned to reclaim her ring. The next morning, Ed sits with Nefer again. He tells her he wants to produce a full music album for her. He'll cover everything, every expense, because he believes in her talent. But there's one problem. The clothes she and Tuth are wearing don't fit this world at all. So Ed hands them his bank card. They should go buy new outfits, something modern, something fresh, and they do. Nefer, Tuth, and Sekhem rush to the mall, trying on clothes, laughing, feeling a strange mix of excitement and freedom. Then they return to Ed's studio, where he records Nefer's songs. And the moment they're released, they explode online. Millions of views in just hours. Across town, Sylvester watches the news. He sees Nefer on TV and whispers that he finally knows exactly where she is. That night, after talking with Tuth, he leaves her to rest. Nefer steps out onto the balcony, taking a breath of the quiet air. But suddenly, Sylvester appears. He shoots her with a tranquilizing dart, and she collapses instantly. He and his assistants grab her and disappear into the night. Tuth sees them too late. He runs after the car, desperate to save her, but he can't catch up. That's when Ed steps beside him. He recognizes the car. It belongs to a famous museum, Carnaby Museum, a museum run by the Sylvester family. And inside that museum, Sylvester stands before Nefer, tied to a chair, still unconscious. He tells her that he once planned to display her ring as his greatest discovery. But now, things have changed. He wants to display the princess herself, a living mummy, as the centerpiece of his grand opening. And at that moment, Tuth finally reaches the museum. He gets annoyed when he sees his display sign saying he won only 100 races. He mutters that it was actually more than 112. Then he heads inside to search for Nefer, but Sylvester and his assistants catch him too. Meanwhile, Sechem grows worried. Tuth went to save Nefer and still hasn't returned, so Sechem decides to go himself. He sneaks into the museum, waits for the guards to look away, slips inside, and reaches both Tuth and Nefer. He frees them and urges them to run. But the tranquilizer in their bodies is still too strong. They can barely move, so Sechem keeps pushing them forward until Sylvester suddenly returns and spots them. Ed bursts in at the same moment, takes the hit from the dart, and collapses. Tuth lifts him, and they all run. They jump into a bus, and Sechem tries to start it fast. Sylvester chases them in his car. Nefer keeps pushing Tuth to drive. He was a racer. He can save them. But Tuth admits he's been afraid to drive since the crash that caused his death. She keeps encouraging him, and finally, he faces his fear. He guides Sechem step by step, and together they outmaneuver Sylvester, sending his car crashing onto a floating boat. Later, Ed wakes up and tells them they need to return home immediately. He books them the earliest flight to Egypt. But on the plane, they discover Sylvester is there too, heading back with his assistants. And at last, Tuth and Nefer return to their homeland. But each one ends up alone, far from the other. And after a few days, a royal guard rushes to the pharaoh with alarming news. A group of the living have attacked the city, and they're bringing metal beasts with them. We then see Sylvester leading his men on massive machines, heading straight for the Mummy City. One of his assistants asks if they're going after the princess. But Sylvester smirks and says they don't need her anymore. This time, they're taking the pharaoh himself, because he will draw bigger crowds. They storm the palace. Nefer jumps in to protect her father, fighting with everything she has. But Sylvester knocks her aside, seizes the pharaoh, and escapes. Meanwhile, Sechem runs to Tuth and tells him everything. Tuth insists Nefer doesn't need someone like him to protect her. But Sechem snaps. She's facing metal monsters alone. That's all Tuth needs to hear. He races off to help her. He arrives just in time, pulls Nefer onto his war chariot, and together they chase Sylvester through the desert. The road ahead turns into a steep drop, a deadly fall. Nefer's still trapped on the chariot tied to the tractor. Tuth leaps forward, frees her, and throws himself at Sylvester to stop him. She screams for him not to do it, but he tells her this is the only way to save the city. They both go over the edge. Nefer rushes down the slope in tears, searching for him, until she finds Tuth hanging onto the cliff. He's alive. She pulls him up, overwhelmed with relief, and they head together to the pharaoh. There, they finally admit they want to be together for life. The pharaoh smiles. Even if the phoenix hadn't flown toward Tuth's house, destiny would have brought them together anyway. And so, Tuth and Nefer marry in a grand celebration, with the whole city rejoicing around them. And that is where our story ends.